to a rainy Saturday morning episode number 32. I'm Jeff.
I'm Tom.
I'm Kim.
And John will be joining us shortly whenever he can find his way here to Chez Jeanneret, his new home. And we're here in his... What level is this of this house? Level 2 of 4? Or
Yes. Yes, level 2 of 4.
Of 4, all right.
Raffle room.
One of these split-level, multi-level kind of places. So we found our way into the TV room, I guess we are. And here we are. We're going to talk about the Reds today. Not a lot of good stuff to talk about, but we're going to talk about them and look ahead and try to find some positive. I might have to dig through the couch cushions here to find some positive, but we'll find some. So well, how's everybody been? It's been a while. We've been busy. Kim's been moving. I got golf season going on.
What our listeners don't know is when we're not on the air, we're texting each other about the Reds several times a day, usually.
A lot of times, yes.
And the latest debate on our text has been about Jim Riggleman, our manager. And so I think I'm in the minority here. Mr. Jeff and Kim are ready to see him. How do you say goodbye in French?
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
A tout à l'heure.
And I think that's too harsh. I mean, I would say, first of all, I guess I would say, I think every season you look for who's available on the manager market. If there's some
I just don't think he bunts enough. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, whatever.
But I think the players are still playing hard, and I think if you're talking about why the Reds are as bad as they are, it's not because of Jim Riggleman. It's because their pitching is like third or fourth to last in Major League Baseball.
Well, I would agree that is the big, big problem, but that doesn't mean it's the only problem. I mean, what do you think? You hear about Riggleman being kind of a in-your-face kind of guy and gets after him and so forth. He's quick. He's a quick hook on the mound. Not that, which is really the way baseball's going anyway. But he seems to be quicker than most.
I like that.
How do you think long term, over a couple more seasons, that plays with today's Major League Baseball player?
I think it's going in that trend.
No, I mean
with the players.
I mean with being an old school, in your face, my way or the highway kind of guy.
I didn't know he was that way.
I think he is. I think I've heard things of read things of he is demanding, tells it like it is, which is good, and I think that team needs this now. But if you start to really develop, that only how far does that go?
Well, we say that, yet at the same time, and there's some things we don't know. We don't know who's really pulling the strings. Is it Castellini? We don't know the answers to those questions. But we say what you just said. He's quick to make these changes. Yet Billy continued to bat, and like you and I were talking the other day, John texted and said Billy's up to 241, and we're excited about that. And I told you when I'm watching the game, we've all sort of hit apathy level lately. We haven't texted as much, and when Billy's at bat, I just said, okay, fast forward number 2 or 3, and I don't see how he makes an out. But we go to commercial because there was 2 outs. I just don't know if he struck out or popped up.
But we've all come to the agreement that we're okay with him being an 8 or 9 hitter.
Yeah, I can be.
But I guess my point is, I don't know where Riggleman really stands because he continues to do things that amazes me. Again, not knowing if it's Castellini or Riggleman. Before it was, okay, Winker's the odd man out. What? And that lasted 1 day. So someone else overrode. Like we said before we got on the air, 3 to 4 days ago, Homer's in the lineup. He's going to continue to be, and it's not like we have superstars knocking at the door ready to pitch. 3 or 4 days later, Homer's out of the rotation. I just don't sense that we really... I don't have faith in the organization being truthful and really having a game plan. It's just confusing to me.
Yeah,
so fair or not, Riggleman is the manager right now.
But your point, though, is have we found like a strategy or a direction for the Reds all season? Where are we going? Where are we headed as a team?
Last place.
Yeah.
I think we all agree
next year
that,
too?
I don't know. They may not end up What'd they win last 2 years? 68 games.
It's 60. They're 60
They're
right
60
now.
right now, and the way things are going, there's no. I mean, I don't.
I'm hoping for 3 more to get to less than 100.
Less than 100 losses. Yeah.
Well, we all agree that
Orioles got
the
there
offense
yesterday.
is positioned well, both at the current squad and the minors.
It is.
It
but
is.
It's like Tom's been saying for months/years, pitching.
Hmm.
So the comment was made pre-All-Star game, we're going to go out and we're going to spend some money this offseason. What does that mean?
How'd that
Are you
go?
going to go out and buy Pennington, Gosselin? Are you going to trade for another Preston Tucker in the form of a pitcher? Are you going to bring back Bronson Arroyo? He was batting practice spotter last year. Remember that? I just don't have faith that they're going to do what it takes.
Yeah.
Do you think let's say we swap out pitchers with, I don't know, you name it, the Dodgers. How good is this team if we have the Dodgers pitching staff? Are we a first place team? Do we contend?
I think you're certainly in a wild card race.
I do too.
With that kind of a pitching staff, because
I
I
do
think
too.
they can hit. But I think there's still a lot of talk out there about the lineup, even though we know pitching is the biggest problem on this team and has been. And even though we know that, you still hear a lot about lineup talk, and that's fine. It's part of the team. It still should be discussed. I just hope that they focus on pitching in the off season and not listen to a whole lot of stuff about the offense, even though you still have to look at lineup and who's going to play where. Mm-hmm. You still have to pay attention to that. You still have to do some things in that area. Fans and people are going to beat the drum for certain things in the off season, and pitching is the drum that we should all be beating, not so much. And this drum's going to get beat really heavy too. Is where's Nick Senzel going to play? Mm-hmm. You know,
those are good problems.
Those are good problems.
Yeah. And what do we do with Phillip Ervin?
That's another
That's
good
another
problem.
good problem.
So that's going to be talked about, and I hope they care and pay more attention to starting pitching than this other stuff. Just let that happen. That stuff can kind of happen a little more naturally, a little more like let's just kind of see who plays and who works it out, which is what we've been doing with pitching. Who's going to come up, who's going to make it, who's going to do it. It's time to say, okay, we've tried this. These guys aren't making it happen, and Stevenson, Reed, Romano, Bailey now, they look like bullpen guys more than long-term solutions in the starting rotation. So go out and get somebody.
Here's back to my point about the trust. We all just said this is a good problem to have with Irvin, with Scooter, with Senzel. That's a good problem to have. But I still don't have faith that this organization, whoever the leadership is really calling the shots, are going to make the right decision.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I think the right decision is. When you have that good problem, take one of those really good prospects and go get a pitcher. Go get one or two pitchers.
All right, let's put rubber to the road. Do you trade Senzel?
I'd trade anyone, any position player.
I would trade
Votto.
him. If I thought I could get a top-end starter, or somebody who's really needy in the areas that Senzel can play,
Yep.
and I had a guy who's established and has shown things that he can do
Give me
things.
the name of a top-end starter. Max Scherzer?
We're
talking that
well,
level?
no, you're not going to get
I
Max
don't
Scherzer, and they can't afford him.
But I'm one or two currently on.
Who did I look at? Who were some free agents coming up? A guy who's, late 20s, maybe to something like that. That's shown that he can be a good pitcher.
That's why I say
starter.
If you
I mean,
had
there's
a name that would help me.
Well, okay. There's names out there. We can come back to that, but
Okay, just put
I'm
it
just
this way.
saying, if I would not have a problem putting Senzel in a trade like that. I think Scooter has proven that he's got more good years in him. I mean, the guy might win the batting title, and he's he had his little time here in the season where maybe Scooter, maybe this is the decline of Scooter. We jump to those conclusions.
Right.
The same people who don't want to jump to conclusions on, this guy's hitting really well, that's a small sample size. But as soon as a guy that you're looking to maybe move or want to do something with starts to have a little dry time, all of a sudden, sample size doesn't matter anymore. It just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So where are these declining Scooter numbers? They're not there. And he doesn't even. I mean, the other two guys in the infield are Peraza and Suarez have the most errors in the National League. It's not Scooter. So.
Well, here's what I would say. I was just looking through the top individual stats in the National League, and you know how they list all the pitchers. So by ERA, guess what? There is not a Red pitcher in the top 50 of ERA.
No.
In the top 50. So Kim, a general answer to your question of who is, how about any of those top 50 pitchers that are starters? Any of those. We don't even have a top 50 pitcher on this team.
Yeah, it's amazing where we were 6 years ago with that staff.
Yeah.
And where we are now.
Yeah. I mean, the DeSclafani and Bailey injuries, I mean, have really wrecked the plan to a degree because if you think about it, when they started the rebuild, they said, okay, DeSclafani, Bailey are our cornerstones of our rotation. We trust those guys. They can be good major league starters
For years
to really good for several years. And from there, they have been hurt, and it was going to pair those two guys with young guys, bring them along, figure out these two or three guys that can fill in and get another guy.
That's a good strategy.
And that was a good strategy, but the injuries came, and all of a sudden we got Adelman and Wojciechowski and all these guys in the starting rotation having to come up and pitch because that happened. And they didn't feel – I mean, going out and spending money on starting pitchers at that point wasn't going to make a difference because we didn't have an offense yet that we thought we could win with. And so I think our memories can be a little short and forget that wasn't a terrible plan. Injuries happen.
I think that's a good plan is to get a couple pitchers to build your team around and then bet on some young guys.
Right. And so now they've got to go out and sign a guy or two.
Yep.
Trade for a guy or two.
I think there's only one guy I would say is hands off, and that's Suarez. I don't think you trade him.
No, not.
But anyone else, I think is fair game.
Yeah, not with the contract that they just put him under. Well, look who just walked into the room. John has joined us. So now the conversation should really go up a notch.
We're going to jazz it up now.
John, while you were gone, we decided the Reds' main problem is hitting.
No. That's why I'm here.
That's why he's here, to straighten us out.
Yeah.
Okay, Kim, you asked for some names of pitchers, and you shall receive.
Well, names of pitchers, but go ahead and define a little bit better
Well, I called up Fangraphs here.
Well, to bring John into the loop, you said, okay, we trade a Senzel for a top-notch pitcher, and I said, is top-notch Max Scherzer, and y'all said no.
Well, probably not.
We said, okay, a notch below that. So who are the notch below?
Let me give you some names of guys who. None of these guys may be available, but it gives you an idea of the type of guys, right? Well, the Mets, things have been thrown around about DeGrom.
I'd take DeGrom.
I'd take DeGrom in a heartbeat. He's got a 168 right now. Chris Sale's not going anywhere. You ever heard of Blake Snell?
Yes.
Pitches for the Rays. He's got a 206 this year. Trevor, look at the Indians. They got a Trevor Bauer. They got a Corey Kluber. Guys like that. What about Mike Fultonevich for the Braves? He's got a 275. I mean, I don't think the Braves are going to move a guy who's pitching well for them right now because they're in a contending thing. But find a guy. Here's a guy I think is a good free agent prospect for the Reds if he's interested in leaving Arizona, and that's Patrick Corbin. He's got a 301. He's 11-5. A guy like Mike Mikolas for the Cardinals has got a 306. Now he's young, or Miles Mikolas. He's young, and he's under their control for a long time. They're not going to get a guy like that. But Charlie Morton, Zach Wheeler for the Mets.
I like Wheeler.
Even
these are all $15 million kind of players.
Could be. Carlos Carrasco for the Indians. Dallas Keuchel is a free agent this year. Now, he's a little older, but I think there's, Alex Wood for the Dodgers is a pretty good pitcher. So there are guys out there. If the Reds can find a guy, I think they should be looking at these. Kyle Freeland for the Rockies. I mean, he's got a 2.96 ERA for the Rockies. Whoever does that,
going back-
Right.
So
going back, Tom, is there anyone you don't trade?
Yeah, I think Suarez is the only hands-off guy.
So that would include a Scooter, a
Yep.
Winker, and then anyone in the minors.
Anyone in the
to
minors.
include
In fact, especially the minors, because they're not proven. We don't know they're going to do anything. Even Senzel, we don't know if
to
he's going to
include
do
our
anything.
stud young pitcher, Hunter Green.
He's not
I
proven.
don't think we have to trade pitchers. I think we got enough
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
hitters
Okay, so we're
that we
talking
could trade
position
for.
players.
I think we got enough position players we could deal and get somebody.
Hunter Green's a good question, though.
And I think they have to go. They have to look free agency at a guy like Corbin or a Keuchel. Even though Keuchel's a little old for my taste, getting there, but there's a list of guys that are available that way that are proven and can do it. But I think they also have to look, and I'm sure they're doing this right now, and they're looking at every organization. They're saying, who do we like there? What do we have that they would need, and try to find a marriage that's going to work.
Here's my biggest fear: you trade a Jonathan India, you trade a Nick Senzel, and they end up being superstars.
Yeah, but
Didi
you can't.
Gregorius?
But you can't.
I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
I
along the
agree
line
that,
of a
but
Frank
the-
Robinson type career.
But I think
That's
the Reds have been guilty of that. They've held on to guys so long sometimes, and then
I just think.
Look at Turner for the Dodgers. We
I'm just
had him
thinking of
too.
Senzel.
Yeah, but
I'm
he
just
didn't
thinking of
last
Senzel
until
and
he was-
India, top 5 picks. If
I wouldn't
there's-
trade them both.
I'm just saying I wouldn't want to trade either of them. I said a couple of months ago I'd be a horrible GM because I'm kind of like
You going to take a
Hard time
chance
letting
on
go.
someone, or are you going to get a known commodity? Right, that's your choice.
Right.
You going to take a chance on India?
And pitching is always risky to bring in because of arm problems. But you can't stand pat and wait on, all these prospects to
so that
mature
goes
as
back to
starting
my comment
pitchers.
earlier. What did they mean when the front office said prior to the All-Star break, "Oh, we are going to spend money this year in the offseason"? What
I don't
does that
know what
really
they mean.
mean?
I hope it means free agent pitchers. And maybe make a
Agreed.
trade for a pitcher who's under a contract that maybe isn't so team friendly, but isn't horrible that you're willing to step up and spend
Because
some
right
money.
now we got another top pick coming up this
Oh
year.
yeah, well,
Right now we're what, 6 or 7?
yeah, we're like the Browns in football. We're just getting all these top picks, so we don't. I mean, sooner or later.
But we haven't had an
Well-
over season, so we're.
Well, let me ask this question: have we run through our cycle of pitchers that are major league ready? Have we
Or-
sifted through them? Do we have any more?
Or the guys that when you say major league ready, you at least mean the guys who have gotten up there and it's like they're worth it. We
Right,
got to try.
like Stevenson, Reed, all these guys. Have we sifted through them? Molly, and are we done with them? I mean, it has taken us. We've done this for the last 2-3 years now.
Well,
Do we have any left?
I think
Finnegan.
Finnegan, yeah.
at AAA maybe not. Tony Santillan, great couple years, coming up single double. He's the next guy. I think that we haven't seen at the major leagues that everybody wants to see. Can this guy do it at the major league
So
level?
you're giving
So
up already on Molly and
No, I'm not
Castillo.
giving up. What I'm saying is I have. It's taken us 2 to 3 years to. We had a plethora of
to look
pitchers.
at all these guys.
To look at all of them. Do we know what we've got now? And I think it is time to go out and get 1 or 2 proven commodities, and then take the best of our group there, like a Castillo and a Molly that we know might have some long-term potential.
Those two have done more at the major league level than any of the other guys.
yeah, that's true.
They've shown the most. Now, I don't know what that means long term for them, but they have shown the most.
Or
Yeah.
they could be a 3 and a 4.
They've had periods of consistency.
So who do we let go? We can let go. Jackson Stevens. You let go of Reed. You let go of
Austin Bryce.
Bob
Yeah.
Steve. Do we let go of him?
Bob Steve may become a really good closer. He's got stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe Homer can be a good guy out of the bullpen even. I mean, with some of the limited stuff he can do, throw an inning. I mean, how many times has he had a good inning or two and then things fall apart for him? I just don't think he can do it long over several innings anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a good group of bats, potential bats coming up that we can trade for one or two proven pitching commodities to really put us over the top with our pitching right now.
We've got catching depth in the minors.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Stevenson is a guy that could be high draft pick. I like him a lot, but they've got Barnhart for a few years, and Barnhart seems sturdy and steady. There's always people.
It stays healthy.
More than a lot of catchers, and Stevenson is a guy that could get somebody's attention.
Solly's still hitting 300.
Yeah, and there's other guys, and then there's this guy they got from the Dodgers who hit 36 home runs in Daytona this year. Plays, was he play first base? I think Ibendale Isabel. He hit a home run the other night.
What's his name?
Ibendale Isabel.
That's right.
You just
Plays for the Daytona Tortugas.
Yeah, and he hit a home run the other night in a playoff game and won the game for him. So I mean, I don't know. He might be the next Willie Mo Pena, but he might also be the next Frank Robinson, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, you can't be afraid of the Edwin Encarnaciones.
Right.
You can't be afraid of trading away stuff like that if they're going to blossom. We have to get.
You got to take the next step that's in front of you that helps make you better now, or we're going to be in this constant. I mean, the Reds now have clinched their 12th losing season in 15 years, matched only dubiously by the Pirates. Nobody else has been that bad in the last 15, that many losing seasons in the last 15 years.
And that goes back to my comment earlier about not having faith in the front office. You just said that, and the Reds front office this past 7 days have talked about the winning culture.
Yeah, what winning culture?
The Riggleman winning culture.
There is no winning culture.
The Castellini winning culture. I don't know.
There is no winning culture. You can't have a winning culture when you lose.
But that's all of our
You
point.
can you can try to pursue it, but you can't. You're not a winning culture. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. That's our point. They had a good momentum. We get to within 9 games. We got 9 games under 500.
Right before the All-Star break.
And everyone was healthy. Things were looking good. And then the injuries took off. And then you just back to the same old Reds.
Pitchers got tired.
Yeah. And, Castillo's had not the type of year that I'd hoped he'd have. The second half, he's been better, but he's not anywhere consistent. So I'm just, you'll have Disco next year. You'll have Castillo. You'll have Molly. Who else?
I think if you go out and get 2 proven guys and put them with those 3,
that's not a bad staff.
It's not a bad staff. It could become a middle of the league kind of staff. Could be. No guarantees with anything,
And
especially pitching.
Amir Garrett has shown he's not a starter.
No,
but he's shown that he does have. You put him in for an inning.
An inning or so.
The lefty in the bullpen is really valuable.
Yep, I think we have the skeleton of a decent bullpen.
Agreed.
When we're healthy.
Yeah.
Are there bullpen ranks? I mean, can we see the rank of the?
Yeah, just keep talking. I'll see what I can find. But so what else? I know something I wanted to mention. It was mentioned earlier about Billy, center field, and if we're to believe reports, last year the Reds seriously shopped him around in the offseason.
Especially the Giants, remember?
I fully expect them to really try to move him this offseason.
Billy?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, can Philip Irvin play center field? I mean, he made a nice diving catch last night, but I haven't got to see enough of him lately. I mean, with my golf team playing almost every night of the week, I don't get to see much ball lately. But is that? Have you guys seen enough of him out? Can he play? I mean, he struggled. I know when he first came up, he couldn't hit a cutoff man, save his life. But can he go get the ball out there? Well,
I did notice last night there were a couple balls in center field that he but couldn't get to by like a step, and I couldn't help but think.
Was he playing left last night?
He's playing left.
Mason was in center field.
That's right.
And there is a difference when Billy's not out there.
Right.
And they were key times of the ball game too.
Right.
But put Irvin in left field. He's not going to be worse than other left fielders.
I mean, do we've already seen with quality fielders would we ever miss a Cozart and a BP, Brandon in the middle with Billy in center? I mean, that's the best up the middle defense you can have. And do we miss that? I mean, if we say yes, we miss it, then we got to keep Billy. And Billy is the one commodity that can change the face of a game with.
Well, here's my comment on that. Trade, go ahead and get rid of him because you got Taylor Trammell, who's going to be up there sometime late next year probably. And I think he's our future center fielder, unless you trade him for a pitcher.
Well, the Reds defensively are 7th in the National League in fielding, so have they missed them? Well, they're still pretty good fielding.
What were we, number 2 last year?
I really don't know, yeah.
What about last year?
Where the Cardinals?
Oh, look at this. I can do that. 2017 regular season. Last year we were 3rd.
3rd and
We
1.
went from 3rd in fielding, so we went from 3rd to 7th.
Yeah.
You had Cozart out there.
Well, what percentage of these questions get raised, what percentage of success is based on hitting, pitching, fielding, base running?
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
What percentage of your success is based on? It's a hard thing to quantify,
Yeah.
but I have to feel in the way the game is played today, fielding and base running are less important than they used to be. There's not as many balls to field.
Yeah.
There's just not. I think the shift, you can hide a scooter in a shift, and people don't run like they used to. I mean, Billy isn't running even like he used to this year. And his on base is with at least at career average, I think. I don't know, but I'd have to look that up. But I think those things mean a little less. And that's even if there's people saying, oh, well, baseball's getting boring, we need to go back the other ways. Well, that doesn't mean that's going to happen. And you got to make difficult, tough decisions for that.
So here's an interesting stat.
Billy.
2016, the Reds were 2nd to last in pitching. 17, they were last in pitching. What do you think they are this year?
They're last. In what defined
By ERA.
by ERA?
This year, they're 2nd to last.
Who's worse?
Marlins?
Miami Marlins.
I mean, even the Orioles have better pitching than us, and they've lost 100 games.
So really, that's no excuse for a front office.
Yeah.
3 years in a row to be last or 2nd to last in pitching? Really? 3 years?
And that's us sifting through our talent, trying to find something, and we don't have anything.
Yeah. So Billy's been over 50 stolen bases the last 4 years. This year he has 29. His career OBP is 298, and his OBP this year is 298.
Yep.
So I knew it was close because I'd looked at it a while back. I didn't know.
And that's just not acceptable.
No, it's not. Not. He shouldn't be batting leadoff. Did Schebler bat leadoff last night?
Yes.
Yeah.
What did he do last
Big
night?
Grand Slam.
Ah.
Just what you want your leadoff hitter to do.
Yeah, little hearts started flying out my chest.
But he didn't go over the PNC sign last night.
Well, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
That was a mammoth shot.
He was a little rusty coming back off the
Yes.
DL, even after the rehab, but he looks like the guy that he was looking like
We can
earlier.
keep him healthy. We can keep Winker healthy.
Yeah, our bats, when we're healthy, we have the bats.
Yeah, and I honestly, Irvin's stepped in and done really well.
It's only going to get better.
And I don't, Joey. I don't know where Joey's career goes after this year. That'll be interesting. The power decrease is concerning, but
Peraza's got to be the most improved player.
yeah,
Year.
it could be. I mean, Joey's battled some knee stuff all year. Maybe
Suarez is coming in his own.
yeah.
Becoming a superstar.
Yeah. I mean,
The thing about Peraza that's really impressive is he is hard to strike out.
He didn't used to be, did he?
No.
I mean,
well, I don't.
you get
know.
the bat on the ball, you have a chance. If you don't, so Peraza, yeah.
Yeah, he, and he still doesn't walk a lot,
But it's better than
but
it
it's
was.
better than it was. And so we have to be okay with that. I mean, yeah, he leads the league in errors, but it's the first full season playing shortstop in the major leagues.
Yeah.
I think Derek Jeter had a couple years like that when he was young, high error seasons. So it's not anything to give up on.
Seems to me Suarez has more errors this
He
year.
does. Those two actually have the most errors in the National League.
Yeah.
18
At their positions?
And we're still seventh.
overall, 18 and 16.
Wow.
And we're still 7th, and so that's not bad.
Yeah.
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 So batting leaders, if I look that up here, I'm interested in where Peraza is. He strikes out at a lower percentage than anybody in the National League.
Peraza?
10.5%. Markakis at 11. This one will surprise you. Jason Hayward, who struck out like crazy for a few years, figured out his swing.
Really?
11.5. Rizzo 11.8. Then it's Posey, Zobrist, or the Inciarte, Marte, Miguel Rojas, who's a young guy with the Marlins. Michael Franco for the Phillies, 13.6. But he's there's only 5 guys in the league under 12%, and he's one of them. His WRC plus is only 96, which is a little below league
Kim was
average.
asking about that earlier.
Yeah, I'm sure he was. His walk percentage is only 4.8%, so you'd like to see that up around 10. But it's better than I think it has
And maybe
been.
that's the jump for next year.
Yeah, maybe
we
that's-
haven't said, boy, we miss Cozart.
No, we haven't. Not in an offensive way. I mean,
Who would have thought?
he's hitting 289. His OBP is 329, which is typically around average, and that's really buoyed by his batting average. So if he becomes a guy who walks a little more and keeps hitting 10, 12 home runs, something like that, and can shore up his defense. Now, he's a guy who also could become a center fielder, but who's going to play shortstop? Jeanette can't play shortstop. I don't think he moves Suarez after this year. He's been at third base too long. Senzel, shortstop experiment apparently didn't work. I don't know. So Kim and I the other day at lunch, he said, this was almost a year to the day where I predicted lineup and rotation for this year, so he had me do it again. And you want to call that up, and we'll see what kind of agreement or disagreement we have on this. We picked
Okay.
the players at positions. I didn't really do a batting
You
order.
want to do pitchers real quick?
Yeah, do the rotation.
So, opening day starting 5 for this year we're in now. Had Bailey, Castillo, Bob Steve, Molly, and Romano.
So that's 4 for 5.
For next year, we say Castillo, Molly, Disco, and 2 additions.
I would agree with that.
Lineups. Now, last year we had it in the order, but lineups, everyday player. Winker, Peraza, Votto, Duvall, Suarez, Senzel, Hamilton, Barnhart. For next year, and we started out at catcher position. We said 2, 3, 4. Barnhart, Votto, Jeanette, Peraza, Suarez, Winker, Irvin or an addition in center field, and Shebs in right, with a little heart next to Shebs' name.
So that's my thoughts.
Interesting, we had Senzel's name there last for starting this year, but not next
And
year.
you questioned me on
It's
that.
understandable. It's understandable with the injury and what have you.
Yeah, I don't think.
You think he'll do another year in AAA?
Well,
Another year?
I don't know
God
that he'll do
forbid.
another year. He'll either go somewhere else. They'll trade him. He'll either make the team as an extra, as a bench guy, or they'll start him in AAA and then try to figure it out. I don't know. I mean, you figure. I don't know when he's going to be healthy to resume. Has he resumed any kind of activity?
I think he's been doing not full blown, but yeah.
Like baseball
if
stuff.
I'm not mistaken,
not
yes,
just
he
working
has
out.
been.
I don't know what they try to do with him.
Just watching Jeanette throw the ball hurts. You know how he gets that ball and he always comes around, takes an extra step to the left. It comes like he's a submarine style to lessen the pressure on his shoulder. But
He's got an off season, but we could get some really good news out of the winter meetings too.
if he becomes a DH, you're
Senzel at second, Jeanette as the DH. That's my
my gosh.
addendum. That's my addendum to this list. If we get the DH out of the winter meetings.
Lord help
That's
us.
addition, right?
There'll be no more bunts in baseball ever if that happens.
No, Riggleman will still bunt.
We're going to bunt.
Bunt number 3 hitter.
But in all fairness, last night I didn't see it, but Irvin had a perfect suicide squeeze bunt.
Well, I don't have a problem with that.
And he made it safe to first because no one covered the base.
No one covered. I got no problem with that kind of play. It's putting a
First
good
and
hitter
second,
up there
no outs and moving
a guy over
Well,
and giving
I
up an
wanna see more
out.
bunts against the shift.
Well, that's true. I wouldn't mind that.
If you're going to shift on me, I'm butting it, and you guys deal with it.
Yeah.
And Scooter's done that.
Yeah.
Votto does a little partial swing.
Yeah.
That's all Votto does is a little partial swing.
I know. It's frustrating.
So I think that the Reds are going to have to also increase their payroll from 100 million. They're at 100 million now. 50 million of it is 2 guys, Homer and Votto. So if you're going to go get a couple pitchers, we're not losing that Votto and Homer salary. We're stuck with that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to have to go up 125 or something like that. Which, will they do that?
And even 125 is not that much.
Yeah, that's only a pitcher and a half.
No.
Yeah.
No. And what's the team worth? What's Forbes or whoever says the Reds are worth? Have you seen those kind of numbers? I'll do that.
$500 million?
Yeah, or no, more than that.
Yeah, but it's always a multiple of the revenue.
Right. Reds net worth in April 11th this year said the Reds are worth $1.01 billion.
We've got plenty of room.
No. That probably means their revenues every year are 200 million, 250 million, or something like that.
Is that how you figure that?
It's a multiple of your revenue. That's how you come up with valuation of a company.
All right.
So different companies are different valuations.
There you go.
Major league teams, in one sense, even though they're, and sports teams in general, even though they're seen, everybody knows who they are. They're not really big business, right?
It's a small business.
It's a small business, really, in the grand scheme of things.
Oh, yeah.
They're not. We have this sense that they are because the players make so much money, and everybody knows who they are, and they're very public. But they're not Microsoft and all that kind of stuff.
I mean,
not even
the
close
company
to
I
that.
work for, LexisNexis, is probably 8 times as big as the Reds.
Yeah.
Just to give you context.
Also, you must be making like a couple hundred
Yeah.
million.
I have that same contract that Homer got.
But we like you.
Yeah.
That's why say.
That's why you buy. That's why you drive Clifford the Big Red
That's
truck.
right. Drive for the big red truck.
When are you going to get like a number
On
on the door?
Number 5.
Number 5.
Wow.
On the
That's
door.
already taken, isn't it? You can't take that number, Tom.
It's retired.
Yeah, but you could put it on the side of your truck.
Number 5. Good
Why
job.
don't you go with a Brandon Phillips 0?
My IQ number.
So this
you
is
mean?
episode 32. Famous Reds that wore number 32.
Oh, I got it pulled up.
Did you already do
Oh.
Did you pull it up?
Yeah. Currently is Matt Harvey. Jay Bruce, our current pitching coach. Danny Graves.
He's not pitching coach.
Freddie Norman, I remembered him. Did y'all know that we had Mike Cuellar?
Mike Cuellar pitched for the Reds at one time.
1959.
Really? You guys
Joel
know who Mike
Osteen's
Cuellar is?
father pitched for the Reds. Isn't that his father, Claude?
I had no idea. I don't think so.
His dad pitched for the Astros for many years.
Wait, he's a Dodger too. Claude Osteen. I don't think that's his dad. If that's true, I didn't know that. Tom Browning, was he 32?
Yes,
Mr. Perfect,
he was.
as he is known.
It said Danny Graves. Stuart Turner, y'all remember him?
He's a catcher. Just a couple years ago, last year. Who else?
Mike Cuellar.
Cuellar. He was on that great Orioles staff.
How do you find this? Is there
It's on
pages?
Baseball Reference.
Bob Shirley. Y'all remember Bob Shirley, the lefty?
Yeah, he pitched for he was a Padre probably too.
Milt
wasn't he?
Pappas.
Milt Pappas. Wasn't he the Frank Robinson trade?
May have been. Harvey Haddix.
He's a local guy.
How about Steve Carlton, number 32?
Yeah, but
It'd be nice if we'd have that.
it'd be nice if he'd pitch for the Reds.
Who could forget Peaches Davis?
That sounds like ages ago.
What about Mr. Jay Bruce?
Yeah.
Jay Bruce, there you go.
How about Kajana Carter or Rudy Johnson? Oh, wait. Wrong season.
John Carter.
No, it's the right season.
O.J. Simpson.
Oh my God.
A lot of 32 running
A
backs.
lot of 32s.
Ricky Waters.
Jim Brown was 32 also,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
David Fulcher, 33.
Wow. All right, yes. December 9, 1965, the Orioles. No, I'm sorry, that's the wrong. That's the wrong
Yeah, a lot
one.
of
No, that's right.
editing to do on this.
1965, traded by the Baltimore Orioles with Milt Pappas, Jack Baldshun, and Dick Simpson to the Reds for Frank Robinson.
And they said he was in.
He was an old 30 or something.
Yeah.
Whatever age he was. That's what it was. DeWitt, the owner then. And then they traded Pappas to the Braves with two other guys for Clay Carroll, Tony Cloninger, and Woody Woodward. So that trade worked out a lot better for the Reds. But yeah,
And didn't they end up trading Woody Woodward for George Foster?
I think so. Pretty sure. So, okay. Any other last thoughts on our dear Redlegs?
Well, season's going to end, and they're going to see about the managerial position. I know Tom and I did not want to see Larkin as manager.
No.
I don't think that's a good move, but I mean, who knows? But I don't think it's the right. I think he's a old school, doesn't believe in analytics too much kind of guy.
And I read Joe Girardi is probably not coming to the Reds. I don't know if they pursued him or not, or made any sort of vibes out there to a season. I don't know. But whoever it is you hire them, within a relatively short amount of time after the season ends and start moving.
I agree, and let the free agency begin and
Yep.
go get somebody, and be aggressive on the trade front. And this team should look different next year. However that works out. So that lineup I said, that's with who we have. I mean, I could see any one of those guys going in a deal that I gave you on that list. Not any of them, but I mean, Votto's not going anywhere, and I really don't think Scooter's going anywhere.
Prediction from you. Will we have a DH in the National League in the next 3 years?
My hope is yes, and I'm gonna lean on my hope and say yes.
No, because the
don't cry.
commissioner says things are good the way they are. That's all I know.
Well, what's he
What's he know?
he doesn't. He's the commissioner, but the owners other people get to make that decision. I don't think that's his decision to make, is it? It's going to be an ownership.
I don't know how they make those kind of decisions.
They have a competition committee, and
yeah.
that's an owner's
That's
committee.
Joe Torre, doesn't he run that? Or
And I think that's an owner's committee, and owners are going to.
I would think you'd have to have a vote.
Yeah, you're going to have a vote for something like that, and so.
because for owners, I think they vote for it because they want more hitting because it's more fun of a game. The owners, I think, would vote for it.
It's come up too because of pitcher injuries. Is another reason it's come up. The DH sort of has gained some new life for the National League. I don't remember the stats. I read it somewhere, but there's a definite difference in the amount of injuries among National League relievers versus American League relievers.
Otani.
It's one guy.
Why? Relievers? Why would there be a difference? Relievers don't hit.
They get in the National League. They get up and down more.
Lorenzen?
Because National League relievers get up and down more in the bullpen. Get hot and cold more often because of different changes that you may or may not make. Versus the American League, it's a little more straightforward. We're going to relieve this guy. We're going to,
Interesting.
So that's part of the blame.
Huh.
And it's a significant. It's not like 25 more %, but it's not like within a little margin of error number either. It's
statistically relevant.
It's statistically relevant number, and I don't remember what it is. I wish I did, but I don't. But that's another thing I heard. So, and the fact is, and pitching batting average is down. It's like 138 or something. What was that number I sent you guys a while back? And then everybody thought, well, the Reds are batting average pitchers is probably 170.
That's right.
And it's like 100. It's worse than everybody because you thought, well, Lorenzen, but then Lorenzen was hitting 400 for a while, but now he's hitting like 230. You know, he struck out a few times, and then he hit that crazy home run.
Right.
Another reason not to bunt.
Another reason not to bunt. You might take one in the chops because he just about did.
He did.
And then he turned around and hit one out, which is
Don't forget, we lost that game.
He's the anomaly. I mean, we lost that game anyway.
Discalani hit
Yeah. So they just look, most of the time, they just look so bad up there. They just do. It's just horrible. It's not.
Hunter Green might not.
Then let Hunter Green bat if you want to. So, anyway, enough of that. We've been down that road before, and I'm right, and you guys will someday get on board, but, until you do.
Well, I can't wait till my projected lineup next year.
Yeah.
Right after Labor Day.
So, all right. Anything else? Wrap it up. Watch a little football today. All right, we'll do that. Well, until next time, we will be back probably postseason, I would say at this point, and see if the Reds have won at least 70 games. I don't know if they can get there. They need to win 10 more. Doesn't look good. Although Homer's out of the starting rotation, so there's at least 3 games we have a better chance to win.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows about that? We'll talk more about the season that was, and maybe there'll be some new news, rumors going on out there about managers and trades and free agents, and maybe some stuff will start to percolate on that front. So until then, not that it'll do a whole lot of good, but go Reds.
Go Reds.
Go Reds.